And we're going to be talking today about deep packet inspection and application control, which is a new feature that Aruba has introduced recently. My name is Chris Lyttle, and I blog at wifikiwi.com and also on Twitter as wifikiwi.
My name is Keith Parsons. I'm with Wireless LAN Professionals, and I blog under Keith R. Parsons.
Sean Rynearson. I tweet at Rynearson, and wifigeeks.org is my blog.
Dan Cybulskie. I run simplywifi.co and I tweet as simplywifi.
My name is Jennifer Huber and I tweet at Jennifer Lucille, and there's a link to my blog and my Twitter profile.
So deep packet inspection and application control is essentially talking about a technology that's been integrated for several years in edge firewalls. Namely, it's a combination sort of firewall rules and the ability to do more of a deep inspection of the packets going through and classify those packets. Aruba has introduced this into their firewall. The first stage that's been released with 6.2 is application visibility, and it's going to be very shortly followed by the ability to actually have some control over the packets. This feature gives you the ability to say, we've got all of these web connections going through and we want to stop people going to Facebook and YouTube, then you can actually tune the application firewall to be able to specifically block that type of web traffic. This gives you the advantage of more visibility into what your users are doing on the wireless network, and also more control over what's happening. The thing that it won't do for you, it won't break your bread in the morning, and but it won't give you the total ability to control everything that the users are doing, but it certainly gives you much more visibility into your wireless network than before.
So what kind of granularity do you have on per site or per range of sites, per country, I mean within the HTTP?
So it's because Aruba's network is designed to bring it all back to the controller, it's mainly centralized on the visibility per controller. So the demonstrations that I've seen at the Aruba conference here have shown that pretty much they can classify all these different types of data on a per controller basis. And I would expect that the feature set will eventually make its way into the management tools such as Airwave as well, to be able to do that. And I understand that other companies are also working on this particular feature set as a way of controlling their networks.
What would be, why would we want to do this at the edge instead of using something like Zscaler where it hits the WAN?
Well, it's more particularly looking at client traffic. In a similar sort of way you could have with malware, like a network-based malware detection algorithm to detect what malware is doing across your network, and also antivirus or anti-malware actually on the laptop itself. So it gives you different points of control for it. It's adding another layer to the security onion, I suppose you could say.
I would add to that. I mean, if you're going to be doing deep packet inspection, typically we've been saying, okay, let them on at the edge and let their traffic go all the way through to my perimeter defense before I actually do any deep packet inspection. With N, and even more so with AC, once we look at the throughputs that we're going to be doing, it's going to be more important to be able to categorize that and drop it from the network before it actually travels across all of your network infrastructure, just from a bandwidth perspective as well.
But it's still going back to the data center.
For now, if you're doing it on the controller, I have to imagine, I'm just speaking out of turn, I don't really know anything, but I have to imagine some subset of this is going to eventually end up in instant, right? Yes. Which wouldn't be going back to the core. So,
instant-based network, so it would push it out to the edge a bit more, I think.
Yeah.
Do you think this is I mean, it does have a great marketing spin to it, and it's cool to show your customers, look, we can block BitTorrent before you don't even have to support BitTorrent. But does it have the granularity to do things like when my iPad connects, I want it to go to iTunes enough so it knows it's there, but not allow me to actually get my download the latest version of iOS, which puts a bigger load on.
I would say no
just
to that.
No iTunes at all, or can I go to iTunes and then? I guess this really comes down to what policies can you control? Can you say, yes, you can go to this, if I see iTunes traffic, then rate limit it, but if I see it's just a music file, rate limit it, but if it's downloading a new app, leave it open so they can install apps?
My understanding is it's URL and port based at
Right.
this time,
Yes.
but I'm sure they'll be making advancements to that.
So and from what I've seen so far, not to get away from that, I don't know particularly in the iTunes case, but I've seen that, say for Facebook, they have the ability to block games on Facebook, so that you get to posting something on your wall. So they have that level of visibility over what's happening at a particular client level.
Yeah, right now I think it's somewhat limited in the number of apps. I think it was around 200 or something. Someone had said, but that's going to be growing, right?
And,
So-
and that gets back to an old
4.
that gets back to an old problem with this type of technology that existed in the days that we had application firewalls. So you've got to bring that application all the way up to layer 7 to figure out what it's doing before you can do your blocking, which essentially means that you need to write a particular application to be able to recognize that traffic and be able to classify what it's actually doing. So there will be probably initially out of the box a limited number of applications it's going to be supporting.
the popular ones, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Until the
Like
next
simplywifi.co and all the popular websites.
Yeah, exactly.
It has a built-in block for that one.
So one of the technologies that's actually very similar to this from a network point of view is also IDS type devices and IPS. Do any of you have any opinions on that technology and its use in wireless networks?
From what I've seen of IDS or IPS, sometimes there's a default subset of rules that are automatically enabled, but there's always going to be errors that are detected or events that are detected that aren't really real, or just cosmetic blips that aren't really happening. So it's kind of, I don't put a whole lot of faith in an IDS or IPS telling me that there's an association flood happening. I'm just not always sure that that's really real. So
Well,
I think it's a checkbox for a lot of customers. I don't know how much weight people are putting into it.
I agree with you. I think it's a checkbox that people want to see that feature, and it's a cool thing to have. And I don't know how much this deep packet inspection is going to fall in a category that goes, oh yeah, but we can, but should we?
Right.
There's a problem. The tighter you make your IPS, the more you get daily hundreds, if not thousands, of alerts. And what are you going to do with them? And if you're not going to do anything with it, why deal with it?
Exactly. It's a different story if your network is reporting a rogue access point from 4 access points that are yours at a signal strength of neg 30. It's probably in your building. That I would be concerned about.
Right.
Yeah, but that takes a lot of effort to scope the policies and to set the level so that you're getting only what you want. I would think this DPI stuff needs to have some level where I had a customer who just said, "Oh yeah, we want to turn off, BitTorrent." Well, that's an easy switch to have. But when you say Facebook, well, what parts of Facebook do you want to have on?
Right.
When you get a school district and they want to turn on YouTube but not have a subset of the YouTube that still fits the legal requirements but allows them to go, that granular, and I think that's where it's going to be difficult.